Hello lovely people. I spent a week with this Joying Hedge unit and today I'm going to tell you everything that I found wrong with it. Now, it might sound a bit harsh, but whenever you're looking at any kind of product, first thing you want to find out is everything that's wrong with it, because everything is good, but everything that's bad, it kind of stands out. So I did came back yesterday after work and the car was sitting there. So just before we start, I just want to show you the boots up time after the nightstand. So I'm just going to pop my key in and that's it. It's on. So it literally takes just a few seconds. It's really fast to boot up. There's no problems there. It doesn't look like it's shutting down. I did test the current draw when it's on, when it's off. So when it's on, it's drawing about an amp of current, and when you turn it off, it goes gradually from 1 amp to half amp, 0.4, in about a minute or so it totally dies down and it doesn't draw anything. So it does have kind of a sleep function that it allows it to wake up very fast. Now you see that I did butcher my front fascia because I didn't want to buy like a separate interface for my car, because it costs like 70, 80, sometimes 100 pounds for it, and it's not worth it. So I just butchered everything that I have, and I'm gonna probably make it a bit nicer, but for now it is what it is. So from this you can see, like, I'm sitting in the driver's seat and this is the glare that's coming from the sun from that side. It's not that sun, you can see it's a bit cloudy, so it's not direct sunlight, but yeah, it is reflective. But when you sit like this, you can see everything. So this is on max brightness. You can tone it down like that so it's not as bright. I didn't connect it yet to the headlights, so it doesn't dim automatically yet, but like this. I didn't have any issues driving during the day. Even on direct sunlight, it's like you just need to adjust the angle and you're gonna find it. But this is the issue with all the screens, because it's not a matte screen, it is a glary screen. So yeah, you can see that if I'm gonna turn it off, it's gonna come off in a few seconds, just like that. So you can see the fingerprints. It is a fingerprint magnet because it is a capacitive touchscreen, so it's just unavoidable. So a little bit of what I found that's kind of annoying for me. So first thing is the music app. So we have the inbuilt music app, which is something like this. And the most annoying part for me is that whenever you play music, and I do play my music on shuffle like that, so it does have all the songs here and it does shuffle. However, if you go back on it, it shuffles back as well. So it doesn't go back to the previous song, but it jumps back to the random song, which for me it's annoying, and I haven't seen an app doing this before, because the app that I use now is Power Amp, so I use it constantly for me, and whenever you go forward and then you go back, it goes back to the previous song. It doesn't shuffle everything back. Another annoying thing is if I go to multitask, which is here, in any Android phone, wherever you have, if you have this button that goes into multi-screen, if you double tap it, it usually switches to the previous app. So if I would double tap it, it ideally would switch to the app that was previously open. And with double tap, you can switch those apps. This doesn't do that. And if I tap it once, it gives me a screen where I have my current app here. And if I want to access the previous app, I have to scroll, and only then I can access it. So for me, if I press this button, I expect to see like this view, so I could straight away press on the app that I want to use. But the extra step that I need to scroll for it, it's annoying. And that it doesn't do that automatically, it's even more annoying, because in a car, you want to use as little inputs as possible. Now, another thing is that probably I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do a multi-screen view. So usually when you watch like YouTube videos about this drawing stuff, you should have some kind of icon on these screens where you can press, and you would have two screens on each side. So I'm not sure if this specific hedge unit doesn't support the multi-screen view, or there's like a hidden menu or something, but I cannot have two apps at the same time. I have only one at a time, which is, you can see it's annoying to catch it. I cannot play 2 apps at the same time. So this is the most annoying thing. Now, the main thing that is concerning me, and it's annoying as well, this head unit does stutter once in a while. So my journey to work takes about 40 minutes. When there's traffic, it's about an hour. And in those 40 minutes or so, it stutters once or twice. And it does happen totally random, so I cannot catch it on camera just to show you. But it feels something as if when you're playing music through Bluetooth and you go far away and it starts stuttering when it loses the Bluetooth connection. So it's the same kind of sound that's happening. However, this unit is connected on coax into the DSP. Now, I did thought that it might be like a cable or something, so I tried to wiggle it, the cable and something, nothing happens. And I did notice, because I play music and I have my navigation all the time, so when that stuttering happens, the navigation stutters as well. It's like the screen kind of freezes, and it happens for maybe half a second, maybe a third of a second. Very, very short, but it is a little bit annoying, especially when you're listening on the music quite loud and you can hear that stutter. So that is a very, very annoying part. That is not nice. I didn't check. There might be a ROM upgrade, there might be firmware upgrade, it might be something, I don't know. But I did update all the apps on Google Play, so everything is updated, so it's not that issue. So I don't know what it is. If you have any experience with these head units and you have a similar problem, please comment below so we can figure out if it's just this unit or if it's a common issue with all these head units. One more thing that I wanted to mention is the volume control. So to control the volume, you have to tap on this and you can select this, or you have like gestures. So I do believe it's like 2-finger swipe. Yeah, so 2-finger swipe reduces by a set amount. So instead of doing that, I did set in the settings sound boot volume value. So I did set it to max. So when the head unit boots, the volume is always set to max, and I'm controlling the volume with the Helix conductor. So because I'm using it constantly, all the time and always, so there's no need for me to reach out while I'm driving, to reach out and adjust the volume. I can have it this, like that. And if you don't have a controller, you can use the inbuilt whatever your car has. But again, since I don't have the integration to the car, I don't use it at all. And I have this, so there's no need for me to use it. But the control itself, it's annoying. It's just, yeah. I don't like it because you have to watch the screen, and this is much more convenient. So yeah. And there's another thing that I really like about this head unit. So when I'm starting my car, it's just my thing. I don't know how you do, guys. So when you do ignition, I always tend to wait until all of the lights go out, and only then I turn on the engine. So with the old head unit, the Pioneer that I had, because the remote was very sensitive, so when you crank the engine, the remote goes off for a second or so. And the old head unit we used to do, it used to just turn off, and when the car starts, it used to turn back on again. But with this one, since it has like a delay to stand down, I can turn on the car and the head unit doesn't turn off. So yeah, I love this, that it doesn't turn off when I turn on the car, because the 12-volt ignition gets turned off. Even my amplifiers in the back, they turn off when I crank the car, but this head unit does not. So it's great. And the last thing is the actual spectral balance. So if you watch my previous video where I tested this head unit, when I measured the frequency response, I did say that it's not totally flat, and it has a bump at about 10k or something that is audible. Now I did double check everything, and that I will need to correct using Helix Input Analyzer, and I'm gonna show you that. So now I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna measure the frequency with a microphone and REW, and I'm gonna measure 2 frequency response ones with this head unit via coax out, and the second, hello you. And the second I'm going to measure using my phone's Bluetooth that I usually use, and that my system is tuned to, yeah, so it is warm. He's looking for something nice to lay on. In these settings, absolutely nothing changes if you change anything. So, like you have these scenes. I do believe these scenes affect only the RCAs. It doesn't affect the digital output because nothing that I played affect anything. The only thing that changed something is this DTS toggle. It does change the sound, and it sounds like it adds some higher frequencies. So I'm going to test that as well. I'm going to play Pink Noise with the DTS on and off. We're going to see how that affects the frequency response, because I did notice the change and nothing else really changed. So now I'm going to measure the frequency response and I'm going to update you on the results. Haha, I was absolutely right. So what I heard, I measured it as well. So this is the frequency response. There we go. So the red one is the head unit, and the green one is the Bluetooth over the phone. So my system is tuned to the green target, which is the bottom one, and the head unit, you can see it plays much more on the top end just because of that frequency response that I told you about. And I did measure the head unit with, where is that thingy? Sound DTS. So DTS on off toggles it and it changes stuff. So DTS affects stuff just like that. So what DTS does, the DTS toggle, it increases the top end and it decreases the bass. I don't know why it does it. So yeah, it's not nice. Now, how to fix this issue? So this issue is fixable with EQ, because I did double check it in the EQ window. If I open, I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. Predicted. Let's remove predicted. Okay, so the red one is my head unit response, and the blue one I put as a target the Bluetooth response. And what I need to change is I need a 1 EQ band at 12 kilohertz minus 2 dB with a Q of 1. And then what it's gonna do, predicted, I'm going to remove this, it's going to do something this. So it will match response all the way up to 15K, and probably this one, like half a dB difference, is not going to be heard. Now, the problem is all of the settings that you have here and all the EQ settings, they don't affect the digital output. So you can do here whatever you want. It doesn't affect the digital output. It affects only RCAs and high levels on the amplifier. So I literally don't have any options to change the signal coming out of the head unit. Everything is basically bypassed. It doesn't control. However, it does have that hump at about 10-12K. So how to fix this? Another way to fix this is in the Helix DSP. So if I'm gonna go into the Helix DSP software, if I'm going to input outputs, and then the corner, you have input signal analyzer. Now the problem with this analyzer is that it can adjust, fix hack or auxiliary inputs, and it can adjust the analog inputs. It cannot adjust digital inputs. So basically what's happening is I cannot fix this with a head unit, and I cannot fix this with the DSP. So the only way how I can make my Bluetooth sound exactly the same as the head unit is to fix the Bluetooth signal that's going into the DSP, because the Bluetooth signal is going through the hack card. So what I need to do is, this is my Pink Noise played through the phone. This is the analyzer. And in order to make sure that it matches the head unit, which I derived from there, what I need to do, I need to go to parametric EQ, take one band, and it's gonna be 12 kilohertz plus 2 dB with a Q of 1. So I need to do this for my phone response in order for it to match the head unit. And when I'm going to be tuning a fresh tune, I will have to tune it through the head unit probably, because I will be using this head unit for like day-to-day playback, so I want it to be tuned according to this, because phone Bluetooth is going to be my secondary playback, so it's not as important, and the most important is going to be this. So I will have to basically retune everything. So since I'm using this routing that I have all the digitals going into the virtual channels, another way how to do it would be to change the virtual channel EQ. However, that is going to affect both the head unit and the phone's frequency response, so that is not an option as well. So the really only option how to make both sources sound exactly the same is to change the heck unit input EQ, and that's why they're gonna sound the same. But yeah, it's a bit annoying that this head unit doesn't have a totally flat frequency response, and it differs compared to the phone. But it is what it is. You have to live with this. And basically, this tool is exactly for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this like that. So my phone's, the top end is going to be a bit higher than it used to be. But then what I can do, I can go to virtual channels and I can counter that with taking both front, left to right, because these channels feed literally everything, and the only thing that I need to change is the tweeter response. So I could change the frequency response of the tweeter or the virtual channels, and I do that by connecting them together and going to parametric 12,000 minus 2 dB with a Q of 1. So now, according to this, both the head unit and the phone should sound and measure exactly the same. So let me verify that. So I took a new set of measurements, and you can see this is the old Bluetooth and new Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth after 2 adjustments in the virtual channels and stuff. So you see they measure identical. And now what I have, the new Bluetooth and the new head unit, you can see they measure identical. If I'm going to zoom in a little bit at the very, very top end, you can see they measure identical all the way up till what, 17K. After that, there's a slight difference, but it doesn't matter because I cannot hear that high anyway. So now I know that head unit and my phone sounds exactly the same, and now the head unit is going to sound as I tuned my phone, because what I heard and when I said that the top end, especially like the hi-hats and stuff, sounded a bit brighter compared to my previous tune. Now it's gonna sound exactly the same. So the frequency response is kind of an issue, but it's solvable using modern tools with Helix DSP, with virtual channels, and with that kind of stuff. So I will be keeping this head unit. I'm gonna do a new tuning session with it because why not? It's fun. And in general, I like this head unit. The screen is big, the icons are big, it is a bit glary, but it's just screen. It's like a tablet. With any tablet, you have exactly the same stuff and exactly the same problems you're gonna have with the phone as well. But I like it. The only thing that I'll have to like change and just figure out is just literally go through all the settings, see what things do what. I do have a backup camera. It doesn't connect automatically for some reason. You have to go through this AR app. Where is it? This one. Rear camera. Now it doesn't show anything for some reason. Probably because there's probably no ignition, no lights. There we go. It's working. It's just need to figure out why it doesn't do automatically, because if I'm gonna go out of this and I just go rear, it doesn't pop up. So probably there's a setting or something. I don't know. These kind of little things that takes a while to get used to it. But in general, I like it. It does stutter once in a while, which is annoying. And again, I might check out the settings. This one, there's so many settings. So for some reason, display system here, CPU performance, I did check it high speed. Maybe that's why it kind of stutters or something. So I might want to do smooth or moderate. I'll have to check it out, all of these settings, because there's so many different settings to check out. Maybe that's gonna solve it. Here in system, in factory, screen brightness adjustable range. So it is a different range. Brightness max, it says during the adjustment, yeah, whatever. So brightness is set to 60, so you can probably set it higher if the brightness is not bright enough for you. I'm not sure. It might overheat, it might, screens, whatever. But you have some adjustment. There's loads of different adjustments and loads of stuff to play with. But yeah, I like this head unit. I'm going to be using it. I'm going to retune my system according to this head unit. Fun times ahead. So if you have any experience with this joying or any kind of other joying head unit, please pop them in the comment below because I want to hear your experience with it. But for me, it's nice and it will need a lot of experimentation. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.